Hey guys, I am back with another chat video. I hope you all are having a blessed and wonderful day. I hope your week has been awesome, and I hope this upcoming week is just as great. So what has happened in my life this week? It's been a pretty good week, I have to say. I only can recall one unpleasant thing. That's the only thing that's coming to mind right now. Everything else has kind of been going well. It's kind of been a normal week for me. I did try a new baking video. I haven't edited it yet, but I did have a problem. And I brought something to show you because I was getting ready to return the item, and I hope they take it back, and it's this thing. This is like this isn't like, it is a kitchen torch, kind of like a blowtorch that you would see in more of an industrial type, but this is for the kitchen. I mentioned in another video that I was wanting to make some lemon meringue cookies. And I thought that would be so neat to get one of those kitchen torches and just kind of, for whatever reason, this term is not coming to my mind. Even when I'm filming the video, it's not coming to my mind. But basically scorching or burning the tops out. What is that called? I can't remember. Anyway, regardless of all that, I got that. And I read the instructions multiple times because I'm like, this is a live flame. There's fuel in here. I'm nervous about it. I read the instructions multiple times. I could not get it to work. It just would not work. The gas canister is in the other room, but you're supposed to, it's like the gas is like in an aerosol can, and you're supposed to inject the gas in this little brass looking area right there. It wouldn't go in. I could not get it to work. I'm sure it had something to do with operator error on my part, but I'm going to see. I got it at Bed Bath & Beyond. I'm going to see if they'll take that back because it just wasn't working for me. So the video may not go quite as I'd hoped, but what I ended up doing, I feel like I got a hair right there. I know that's rude. But it's like, oh, that was bothering me. I didn't use meringue. I was going to call these lemon meringue cookies. I really just couldn't be bothered to make meringue, and so I ended up getting marshmallow fluff, and I baked the cookies, kind of let them cool down. I'm not sure if they really needed to be cooled down or not, but I did let them cool. I put the marshmallow fluff on them, and then I was going to use that, and then I decided to just put them in the oven under the broiler, and that worked perfectly. So if you end up watching that video, I'm not sure when it's going to go up, either this coming week or the next week, or this week or the next week. You will see that going on, but that's just real life for me. I don't know what I'll edit out and what I won't, but that did happen if you end up watching that video. But the cookies were really good, and they went over well with the people I shared them with. Everybody liked them. So just a lemon cookie with marshmallow fluff, put them under the broiler, and you got some good cookies. They did taste kind of a little bit like lemon meringue pie, and that was my goal. So I thoroughly enjoyed those cookies myself. So that was, well, when I say there's a couple of, only a couple things that, I mean, one thing I can think of, that wasn't it. That's a second thing. So, let's see what else. I've got my notes. I went to the foot doctor again this week to get another shot. I did find out a little bit more information about the shots and how many you can get. Because I've talked to other people, and one lady told me she just gets a shot every 6 months. And I thought, okay, I mean, it sounds like a little bit of a hassle, but, you know, whatever. And for those of you who do not know, I have plantar fasciitis. Maybe I should have led with that. And I was talking to another lady that also had it, and she said she goes every 6 months for shots. So I went last time in January. I got a second shot in my left foot. That's the foot that started hurting. And then a few months after that, my right foot started hurting. So I've had 2 in my left and 1 in my right before this week. And the one, my left foot, has been kind of bearable. It's not been that horrible with it, but my right foot has just been torturous. And if any of you suffer with plantar fasciitis, you know what I'm talking about, how bad it is. I've been to physical therapy. I honestly did not feel the physical therapy even remotely helped whatsoever. So I called and got an appointment, and it was like 2 weeks before I could go. And she is just booked up. She's a great doctor. I really like her, but it's hard to get an appointment. So I was very thankful that I only had to wait 2 weeks. They are now booked out through August. So the next like 2.5 months are booked up already. So I went in there, got my shot. I asked her if I could have one in my left one, and she says, it's not a good idea. She says the most you can get are like 3 shots because the steroid can shrink the fat pad in your heel, and that will cause even greater problems than just the plantar fasciitis. And I said, okay. So I said, the left one has been doing really well with just the 2 shots. And let's see how the right one goes with 2 shots in it now. And I said, what next if this doesn't work? And she said, we'll probably do a walking boot next. And then it was either orthotic insoles or like prescription insoles. I'm not sure what she actually called them, but basically just prescription insoles. And I told her, I said, I have gone to Walmart and got the ones that say plantar fasciitis. And she says, I was just about to tell you about that. She says, those work pretty much just as well. So I have been using those. And I had the shot Thursday, and when I woke up Friday morning, I would say I'm about 80% better already in my right foot. So I'm so thankful for that. Even if it were to stay the way it is now and not get any worse, I would be okay with that because of the amount of pain that I was in. I feel just wonderful now, even though it's not 100%, it's just so much better. So I was thrilled to be able to get to the doctor on Thursday. The one thing, I'm going to get to the thing that wasn't my pleasant thing that happened this week, other than the kitchen torch. I was going to quickly mention, I've been reading this book, and I am extremely hesitant to say the name of the book because I'm going to speak negatively about the author of the book. And when I speak negatively, I don't really like to say who I'm speaking of because for multiple reasons. One reason is that some people will probably absolutely just love this book and they will get offended if I mention it and I don't say everything positive about it. And then I just don't like to be negative in general, but I've been reading this book. Now, I will say there's nothing wrong with the book. It is a easy read. It's easy to get, at least so far. I'm not completely finished with it yet. I will tell you it is a very famous book. They've even made a movie about the book. It's been out for a while. I don't, that's happened with a lot of books. It's nonfiction. So as I was reading the book, I decided to Google the author. And the author of this book, this book has really just made her famous, I would say. I've never heard of her until the book and the movie. And I will say I've seen the movie a couple times already. It was a pretty good movie, not the best I've ever seen, not the worst. So I just Googled the author, and I started reading more recent stuff about her, and oh my goodness, I'm like, she's a charlatan. That's exactly what she is. I completely felt betrayed. And I realized it is her life. She's, she can do what she wants. But I was just like, oh my goodness, lady, you have betrayed so many people. And then I started Googling something else that she mentions in the book, and I was just horrified. And so I'm like debating whether or not to even finish the book. I still kind of want to. Number one, I paid for it. But I was just like, wow, you pull the wool over so many people's eyes. At least that is the way it came across to me after reading other things that have been, other articles and stuff that have been published since the book came out. I do realize that people change. Some people say nobody ever changes, and some people actually do change. But what I find out is that typically with behavior, you kind of have the same behavior and same character. You might change your likes, things that you like, things of that nature. But I was just like floored when I read some of the articles that have been published, and I felt like the book was just done to make money. I honestly just feel that it was just done to make money. And the story, while it was true to some extent, anyway, that's just pretty much all I'm going to say. So, felt betrayed about that. And the last thing I'm going to talk about before I show you the puppies, it deals with the puppies, but they're over here asleep beside me. There's a couch over here, and they're asleep over there right now. I took them to the park. I try to get them a walk almost every day. We don't always make it, but almost every day. So it was Thursday morning before I went to the foot doctor. We went for a walk. And I will tell you, I try to be extremely considerate of other people that might go to this park, because they are not the best behaved puppies out in public. They do bark a lot. They don't bite. They're not vicious. They're really not aggressive, other than the fact that they just bark a lot. If anybody tries to pet them, and many people have tried, and they just run and hide, so they're actually kind of scared. But this lady has been to the park multiple times, and I've not really, some people that see them, they're like, oh, they're so cute, and they want to chat about it, and that's no big deal. This lady has never indicated she wants to speak whatsoever, and that's fine. She's out there doing her thing. Well, I do know how they react to people. It's kind of strange. Some people they never bark at, and some people they just bark their heads off. I don't know what it is. So, I try to get out there before anybody else gets there, so that they don't disturb anybody else. Well, this park has multiple paths to walk on. Well, 2 paths. And so if I go there and somebody else is there, I will choose the path that nobody's on, or that if there's multiple people, fewer people are walking on. And if I go there first, I have one favorite path I prefer, and I will normally choose that. But if I go there first, I pick that. If somebody else is there, I will pick the other one, because I want to be considerate of other people, because I know how they're going to react, and I don't want to disturb anybody. Well, we were on our 3rd lap, and I like to do 6 to 8 laps with them, because they have so much energy. So we were on our 3rd lap. I saw the car pull up, and I was like, okay, somebody's coming. And we'd gotten a little further, and then this lady, it is a lady, she's walking really close. I mean, I can hear her. She's walking really fast is what I meant. Walking really fast, and I can hear her coming, and she's walking loudly. You can just hear her feet just hitting the pavement. And so I've got pretty good ears, but I know the puppies have even better ears. So they heard her, and the way she approached us was extremely aggressive. She just came right up behind us extremely loudly, and it set them off, because they perceived her as being very aggressive coming up on us, and it kind of scared them. And she could have taken the other path, and so I turn around and look, because they're going crazy. And she says, at least this is what I believe I heard, because she said it really loud. She said, "Get away from me," really loud. That's what I heard. She may deny saying that. We did not speak other than that. And I was just shocked that she was just so rude, so aggressive. And so the puppies go crazy. They do have retractable leashes, but the way they do, the puppies have to get closer to me, or I have to pull them. So they had the leashes stretched out as far as they could go. And I had the handles in one hand, and I was pulling on the leashes in the other hand to keep them away. And the lady just stops, and then I pulled them back so she could go around. And then it just irritated me so much that I just let go of, I still had the handles, but I just let go, and they just went for her. They didn't touch her, and they just were like, bark, 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 bark. And so I was like, I started to follow her around the park because of her aggressiveness. I'm like, well, what you did to me, we're going to do it right back to you, and I'm just going to let them bark on your heels. But I did not do that. I felt like I had a little angel on one shoulder and a little devil on the other shoulder, and the little devil was saying, just follow her around and let them bark at her, and the little angel was like, don't do that. She's already aggressive. Just leave. And so we did end up leaving, over all that. But I was just so shocked, because while I do try to be considerate, I expect other people to try to be considerate as well, and there are other paths. This was not the only one to walk on, and I was just floored that somebody would have just come up on very aggressively and just rudely say, "Get away from me," and I'm like, you were the one that came up on us. Oh, anyway, that was my irritating thing that happened this week. I just looked back and I saw one other thing I wanted to show you before I grabbed the puppies. Last week I mentioned that I went to the Bang Candy Company. These are handmade marshmallows. And again, don't want to say anything negative, but I will tell you I ate 3 of them and I didn't like them. That's all I'm going to say was I'm not a fan, and leave it at that. So let me go get the puppies and then we'll end the video. I have them both and I just woke them up, so they're not very hyper right now. Oh my goodness, excuse you. So I got Coco right here and Chanel right here, as you can probably tell from their noses. That's the easiest way to tell them apart. And they are getting so big. I believe, if I've calculated correctly, they just passed their 9th month of life. And we're coming up close on that year, so we might have a little party, just me and them, and I may get them some birthday hats. I'm trying to think what type of cake you can get for dogs that's safe for them to eat. I thought that would be cute. I am going to get them a new bed for their birthday because they're kind of outgrowing the one they are in. I do have 2 beds for them, but the other one, I'm really not sure what they've done with it or where it is. I see part of it over here, but they need 1 big bed. They do prefer to sleep in the same bed, and this one they've got is just getting too small for them. So here is Chanel. I haven't showed you how long they are in a while. There she is. And I did attempt to measure them the other day, and if I remember correctly, Coco was basically from like the base of her right here till her back end. She was 12 inches long, and again, I may not they weren't cooperating. And Coco was, that was Coco, and Chanel was 13 inches long. And I think I measured them around, and I don't remember how much around they were, but I remember Coco is 1 inch wider around than Chanel. So she's 1 inch shorter and 1 inch wider. And so unfortunately for her, it makes her a little heavier. And so I really have to watch her weight because of that fact. Oh, she's got one of my hair. They get hair on them all the time. I really have to watch her weight because I'm afraid she's getting a little chubby. She's not fat whatsoever. She's still in great shape, but Chanel's just really, really skinny. I don't know if I can hold her where you can see how skinny she is. So there she is. And I have seen on like Instagram photos of dachshunds that are younger than them or about the same age, and the other dachshunds are a lot bigger. So I'm kind of glad that they're really small. I thought they were getting really big, but when I look at the photos, I'm like, I'm glad you guys are really small. I like the smaller dogs, and I want them to stay healthy. So, but they're doing really, really well. So we might have a party when they turn 1. We'll see what kind of cake is. Again, I already said that earlier, what kind they can have. But I'm going to go ahead and end this video now. I hope you guys are all doing well again. I hope your week is just great. If you want to share anything with me about your week, just leave me a comment below. I would love to hear from you and chat with you guys, and I'll talk to you later. Bye, everybody.